Hi everybody, I'm Jim Van Dyke. I'm the inventor of Breach IQ, formerly known as Breach Clarity, here with co-creator Al Pasquale. And you might be wondering, what is Breach IQ? We are like free credit scores. You have to explain this because we're truly new. There's nothing else we're exactly the same as. We're kind of like free credit scores, but for using everybody's unique data breach history to tell them a few things, as well as to tell the financial institution. We give everybody a unique identity safety score. It's kind of like a free credit score, but it's telling individuals what their risk level is and the types of risks that they most uniquely face, again, as an individual identity holder. And therefore, in ways that are similar to the medical industry, for example, prescribing action steps that best meets that individual's financial health risks. And this all resides within digital banking, which is why people working for credit unions and banks in a digital or innovation capacity, we would really like to talk to you while we're all here. So did you know that most identity theft and fraud, despite all the different risks out there, medical, tax return fraud, all those things, most of it occurs at the consumer's primary financial institution. So banks and credit union people, that means you're footing the bill for the majority of all this identity fraud to the tune of about $50 billion in the US alone in a typical year. But the ROI is really more about the digital relationship metrics or customer lifetime value. I mean, fraud is clearly a huge opportunity, but the bigger opportunity, because we all know that security is number one to consumers at any point in the relationship decision. So you look at acquisition, digital engagement, loyalty. We've all seen the data and seen the focus group results. You can optimize that through a product like ours. Quick background before Al takes us through the demo. I founded Javelin Strategy and Research, ran that company for over a dozen years, went on to become the primary expert witness for the plaintiff on the largest data breach cases that are leading to your identity theft and fraud problem. Bankers and credit unions like Equifax, Yahoo, Anthem, all those. I was the main guy identifying what risks are faced from that particular breach. Al ran Javelin after I sold it, comes from the banking industry in a fraud mitigation capacity, also managed that practice area at Javelin. So now we are a part of Sontiq. We sold Breach Clarity to Sontiq in March of this year to bring this to within the digital banking experience for consumers. So Al, can you take us through the demo?
You got it. All right. So if you remember us from Finovate's past, take note of the new interface and new features, some of which I'm going to be walking through here in just a second. What you're seeing is actually Sontiq's Intelligent Identity Security Platform. It is a new standalone app available online and via mobile. We support SSO-based integration, as well as an API that you can plug right into your digital banking experience. So after the demo, please come by. We can talk a bit about how we can integrate natively into your digital banking. All right, so let's pretend I am a customer, which I am, and I've just received an alert or notification that something's happened to my identity. Well, I'm going to log in. I am going to scroll down to the Breach IQ widget, which could also be integrated into, again, the bank or credit union's digital banking experience, much like BCU is integrating with Alchemy. And I'm going to see a few things here, but I am going to immediately click into breaches because I just received that notification. Now, what I'm going to see in the breaches tab are all the places I've been exposed on the dark web, plus about 20 times more information due to an exclusive partnership that we have that gives us access to about 15,000 data breaches, including data breaches from the state's attorneys general from across the country. Now, Breach IQ is the first time that consumers have been able to understand the risks that are created by data breaches specifically for them. And that's so critically important because without knowing what you're actually at risk of, you can't have prescriptive actions that keep you safe. And that's the huge differentiator. That's how we're changing the market. Now, speaking of actions, we're going to click over to the action plan. And what I'm going to get from me is, again, a specific action plan that tells me what I need to do. Now, that includes actions like those they can take at the bank or credit union. So, for example, turning on two-factor authentication. So if you're still struggling with driving better security, which is paramount right now for customers and members, we can help do that for you. Now, in addition to a number of other different actions. And as I take those actions, they are really affecting the safety of my identity. And we want to create a really positive feedback loop for that customer or member. And so something that's new this year, and Jim hinted at it when we started, is the identity safety score. So think of it like free credit scores, but for your identity. So at a glance, you'll know where you stand, and as you take actions within the platform, as new breaches are detected, that score will change. So again, you get that positive feedback loop that drives the kind of security engagement and behavior that you weren't able to drive before. And meaningfully different experience for that consumer. And when they care about security, they're going to come back to you first and foremost for this information. Jim?
Thanks, Al. We get a lot of questions about what the value proposition is. We're working with financial institutions, and they're working on cost justifications, projections. So, for consumers, it's all about peace of mind and really broadening financial health to include identity safety. I mean, why shouldn't it? And then allowing that to strengthen the customer lifetime value metrics, again, from acquisition to digital engagement through loyalty, every step of the relationship. And again, as you've seen in the data in spades, consumers' number one concern, there's nothing that's ever more important than security. And speaking of that, I just want to reinforce, this is all about making people feel more safe, building up trust and a sense of calm. Lastly, there's a $2.5 billion annual US market alone for selling identity protection products, and you can get a revenue share by nesting our product within that of our mothership, which is Sontiq. And so we think that's a perfect partnership, which is why we became a part of Sontiq earlier this year. So if you are a head of innovation or digital in a bank or a credit union, we would love to talk to you. And you can reach out to us at the booth we have for today, or just connect with us on LinkedIn, and we'd love to meet with you for a few minutes. We're looking for pilots, and we really appreciate your time and attention. And Finovate, thank you for having us. Have a great day, everybody.